Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me in another video. Today I want to talk about job hacking. Let's get straight into it, shall we? There's been a lot said about hacking in the personal finance space, whether it's job hacking, travel hacking, whatever it is. I love a good hack, but personally I've always had a lot of people ask me, how do you get the time to do this? How do you get the time to do that? And it's true, it's quite hard. Having a full-time job and then trying to run a business or a venture or whatever, it's quite hard. You do it in your off time. You work 9 to 5. You still have your evenings and your weekends, and so you end up sacrificing some of those in order to hack your life a little bit. I thought I'd do a quick video on what I think the best ways to optimize any sort of job hacking is. I know it's not always possible to job hack, so jobs like my own, for example, where my hours are billable to clients, so every hour has to be accounted for. That in itself means that those hours have to be productive. Similar to doctors, for example, that are on the job, that have to diagnose. There's drivers out there that have to drive, and so those particular hours are taken up doing specific things, and those are non-negotiable. But outside of those, you have a little bit of breathing space. So when you go home in the evenings, when you've got your weekends, that's when you should start thinking about your side hustles and how to optimize that time the most. And I think it's all part of the process of understanding that having a job like that is linear. So the amount of time that you have is related to the amount of money that you're going to make, and that's just the equation. It's as simple as that. We are the human capital for our employers, and that's just how it works. Full-time employment, your job, that's your foundation. It's not your limit. Firstly, we want to think about how to optimize our jobs, our day jobs. So if you think about your employer, are you taking advantage of all the schemes that they offer? For example, a cycle scheme, my favorite thing. Are you optimizing your workplace pension? Never leave money on the table. It brings tears to my eyes. So if your employer is matching your pension contributions, make sure you're maximizing what your contributions are. The great thing about being in an employed environment is it always keeps your mind fresh. You're exposed to new ideas, and you may be exposed to your next business partner. You know, you're exposed to fresh talent all the time, and that's constantly evolving, and you're evolving as a person, and your personality is evolving, your skills are evolving, and you're doing what you're good at, I hope. Finally, if you are working for your company, do they offer any other perks, like having discounted shares, having ownership of the company, like the John Lewis partnership? Do they offer, I don't know, options or equity? Is that something that you can add in order to hold a stake of the company? If there is, are you taking advantage of that the most you can? Like I said, you should see your job as your foundation, but make sure you're optimizing that time. Optimize your hours at work, so your employer will get the most out of you, and equally you'll be dedicated for a certain amount of time, but then also be free for the other times to think about your other side hustles. You can only do that by eliminating procrastination and eliminating unproductive hours. And so if you are going to have a chat with a colleague, then yes, set aside some time for that chat. But otherwise, try and be as productive as you can at work, because that will mean that both you and your employer are getting the most out of you. I've been on maternity for the past year, but what I have found, speaking to colleagues and speaking to friends, and also my husband who's been working from home, is that there's been a big change in the way that people are working from home. So you've eliminated your travel commute to the office place. You've eliminated the potential 1 hour lunch breaks that you've had with colleagues that have the potential to overrun. So there's all these little bubbles of time that you may have spent in transition, like traveling from one meeting to the next, or whatever it is in your job that you do, that you've suddenly eliminated in your day. So your day has become a lot more compact. So where you start at 8, you may take a half an hour, 45-minute lunch break, but you may end up finishing a lot earlier than you would have if you were in the office, because you're not commuting and you're not traveling. And so that has added a large chunk of our day back into, and has given us control of that time again, which is a good thing, right? And we want those hours, because freeing up those hours means that we can work on those side hustles. So that commute that you've not had to do anymore, make it useful again. Like, just think about it, like how else can you put that time to use? I've kind of implemented that method throughout my working life anyway, so let me tell you a little bit about. So one of my first business ventures was starting a bag company. So we would design, source, manufacture, and then sell our bags. And so at that time I would try to do everything myself, like build the website myself. I would try and do all the photos myself. I remember actually sitting in my mom's bathroom with a disposable white kitchen sheet in the corner, because that was the only room that had spotlights that would give me lighting in order for me to take pictures of the actual product. But it was a full-time job. And what that makes you realize is having these ventures does require time and commitment. What might seem like something that's a really good idea at the outset, when you're going through the journey, you need to be persistent. There are going to be times when you think, oh gosh, like really, am I really doing this repetitive task? I also organised a supper club in the city, so that involved hosting about 20 to 25 people in a venue in central London, and there would be people from all different kinds of backgrounds. So you'd have like an artist and a technologist sitting opposite each other, and the whole idea would be to socialise and also just get to know other people from different backgrounds, especially if you were... London can be a lonely place if you don't know anybody, and so I found that having these supper clubs meant people could always enjoy each other's company over food, and that was something that I was quite passionate about. And after that we moved on to buying a restaurant, which was great, but a lot of hard work again. And that was great because we did that on the side with our full-time jobs, but we ran that restaurant. We had a management team in place doing the day-to-day, so we didn't have to be involved Monday to Friday. But then on Saturdays and Sundays we were very committed in order to do all the marketing, do all the social media posts, and do all the accounting, making sure all the staff are okay, employing staff, interviewing staff, you know, because it's the kind of industry where people come in and come out constantly, and that was where all of our time was being taken up. But the moral is, all of these things were done with a full-time job, and it is hard work, but you learn so much from it. It's actually unbelievable. Okay, so going back to how to make yourself more efficient at home then, try different things. So when you're working from home, do you need to have your own set desk? Is one screen enough, or do you need 2 or 3? Think about how to increase your productivity, and that is what we've learned through our sort of journey, is having that workstation. Having what works for us is 2 screens. What works for my husband is having 3 screens. Whatever it is that makes you more productive during the day, have that and try it and implement it in your lifestyle to see whether that is something that will improve how you're working. What I've always said is I didn't realize how much I needed something until I actually had that thing, because it changed my life in one particular way. One of the key things is making those decisions quickly. So there's a really good book by Ramit Sethi called I'll Teach You How to Be Rich or something. I'll put it in the description down below. And one of the key things he says is don't lie to yourself. So are you a morning person, or are you an evening person? Do you prefer working late into the night? If you're a morning person, wake up early and take advantage of that. If you're an evening person, don't lie to yourself and say that you'll wake up early. Just wake up at the time that you want to wake up and make yourself more productive throughout the day. So yeah, just be honest with yourself. And then going back to your day job, if you know how many billable hours that you have, make sure that you're productive in those hours and make sure you're reaching your target. Forget everything else. Don't get distracted by what you watched on Netflix last night. If you are going to get distracted by that, then that's fine, but have a time in order for that distraction, and just plan it into your schedule. But focus on the task at hand. And I think that's the way to do it. That's the way to incorporate your hustles into your actual life, into your day job, into whatever it is that you're doing. If you do decide to have side hustles, then remember that those side hustles, when they produce income, you can invest that income and it will give you a more promising future when you retire. So having all those multiple income streams is always going to help your future financial goals. So yeah, let me know what your side hustles are down there, guys. I love a little bit of juicy gossip. But until next time, cheers guys, bye. Oh, please like, comment, subscribe as well. New channel. Okay, bye.